Okay, let's do this. I'm doing things. All right. We are live. Sorry. All right. Oh, shoot. I just pulled up that ad read. Let's start off nice and slow. Here we go. Devices, and we're all set. This is it. All right. The Bottom Line Bombs on the Sports Gaming Podcast Network is brought to you by Shady Rays. Shady Rays having their best deal of the year. Go to shadyrays.com. Get 50% off using code SGPN for 2 pairs of plus polarized sunglasses, and go to sportsgamingpodcast.com/shady to enter the Shady Rays Parlay of the Day contest. We're brought to you by the SGPN's Draft Week. As long as ESPN has you covered, draft props, mock drafts, live NFL draft watch party, make sure to smoosh the subscribe button at YouTube Sports Gambling /sportsgambling.com. / all of that. And with that, let is do what we do and hit techno music. Yes, welcome to the Bottom Line Bobs. I am your host, CJ Sullivan. We are here. It is the day before the draft, Wednesday, 4/25, I think, whatever. Just draft week here at SGPN. I even got a special draft thumbnail, which I whipped up on Canva, because that's what the man in the box does. He's self-produced. I'm looking at the screen now. It's kind of very blurry. I probably should have stuck with my logo. I had Kramer throw the thumbnail up there because, look, you got an old Well, you got the logo done by the great Kyle Bowl in there. Bottom Line Bombs, NFL draft prop bombs. It's going to be a special NFL draft show today. And then the famous picture, you got Favre and that fucking cordless phone and the jorts. CeeDee Lamb on the couch with his girlfriend, tried to look at his phone and he snagged that away from him. Larry Tunsil there with the gas mask bong head. And some weird guy up there. Favre's dorm room was fucking creepier than all of these other ones. Look at the little kid peeking in there. Every photo before phone cams, like actually taken by cameras, there's at least 3 or 4 people just creeping along, like, what's going on here? Because you had time to see a photo being set up. You couldn't like sneak attack it. So just leering heads. Huh? What's going on? Can I get in there? What's going on? Pictures? Anyway, welcome to the Bottom Line Bomb Show. Picks with bits for tobacco use only. Like I said, it's the NFL draft show. We have the mock draft coming up on SGPN. After this, I do the XFL show after this as well. Don't forget to subscribe to that XFL Gambling Podcast with Colby D, Picks Dundee, and J Mark. I'll give out some draft bomb prop bets. They really stretched that out. It used to be, who's going to go number one? Now it's everything. So, and they stretched it out for 4 days. It used to be just a week, Saturday, Sunday. Now it's Thursday. Tomorrow is round one, just round one, because I got to make a goddamn show out of it. It's such a shit TV show. Then Friday, I think it's 2 and 3. Then the rest of the weekends, 4, 5, 6, 7. We'll get to that. So we'll be focusing just on day one, since they made the Thursday the event, the jock prom that it is in Kansas City. How fun must that be for the draft picks? That's enough of that. They used to be in New York every year. And that would be fun for the draft picks. The players. They used to go around and go to the stock market, ring the bell in the morning, go on Letterman, do a top 10, do some fun New York things. But we as fans, we're sick of watching Jet fans moan after every pick, not even know what the hell they're talking about, and just screaming and booing. All right, can we get these Jets fans off every damn draft? Fireman Ed out there yelling about Mark Sanchez. Is it bad to say I wish he died 9/11? Anyway, let's come on. And we said, all right, let's move it around to different towns. So now it's in Kansas City, where it's going to be a lot of fun for nobody, for people in Kansas City. That's the thing. The NFL is so big, and they feel so important about themselves. And they think we can't go wrong. I mean, they just want to swallow up everything, like Mark Cuban said. But they got too fat and sassy, and it's true. I went to Nashville, and it was huge. In Nashville, it's a huge crowd. And they think it's all just for them. They don't realize that Nashville is just, that's what people do in Nashville. They go there to the bachelorette party. They went and just destroyed bachelorette parties. They had no idea a draft was happening. They had Taylor Swift make an announcement like people gave a fuck. But I get it, because it's a special announcement from Taylor Swift. And she announced her new album or something. Like, oh, isn't that great? No, I'm not a 6-year-old girl. I don't think it's Taylor Swift, but I'm saying the NFL and ESPN itself, when they think they're entertainment is where it gets bad. When you put these jocks in dresses and suits and fucking and fashion, bad things happen. Jock prom draft anyway. So we're going to give out a lot of those, a lot of jock prom plays, and it's tough. I'm going to give out that's concerned from the spreads used on Bet Online, just because there's different numbers everywhere and they move everywhere. The sports books this is one thing they actually hate doing. Speaking of jock proms and this, because this is like one event and everyone bets. A lot of people bet on it recently. Obviously, so many different bets to go. So, but the numbers move every single day because it's all information, and then and the information is coming from like Twitter and Reddit. Fucking almost crashed the board yesterday. Some idiot on Reddit's just like, I heard a guy said Will Levis is going number 1. Next, his odds went flying down because who knows if he's right? That's the thing. You don't know if you assume it's just bullshit, but I don't know. Fucking Reddit took out, made GameStop a fucking draft. Who knows? I mean, 401 to 4-1 says insane. That's exactly what. Absolutely crazy. It moved back up a little bit, but you have to take them seriously because they've moved the stock market before Reddit. It's insane. So the books will be happy when this is over with. They don't have to keep reading Twitter and Reddit threads every fucking 5 minutes to change these odds, and they can fly. And the more you hear, the less you know, because we'll get into it later on. No one really knows anything. Even information like agents give up, no one knows anything because they used to be able to know things. Like we used to pretty much know the first 10, at least 3 or 5 picks. But now the NFL's like, everything's got to be hush hush because everything's got to be for this TV show that is the NFL draft. You can't tweet out the picks. You can't load it. You can't ruin it for everyone. We want to see the people get the phone calls. Anyway, we'll get into that in a little bit. So like I said, it'll be an all draft party. I won't give out any more bombs for the playoff games. I did have some. Oh, let me recap real quick before I get to an ad read, and I'll give out all the draft bombs. Because we had a big weekend before with all the wins, and then we came crashing down. We had some losses, but like every gambler said, it wasn't all my fault. We took 3 pretty bad beats. We had Tampa Bay, who was only up 4-1 with 10 minutes to go versus Toronto in hockey there, and I think they were 95% to win, something insane. Toronto came back and won. Although I think Tampa Bay might even be playing a long con because Toronto chokes every year, but they've never have they choked like this. Tampa Bay's like, let's set them up for an even bigger choke by really getting them riled up. So I might come back after them, like game 5. So that's kind of hilarious, but like good for Toronto. But that was a pretty bad beat. That was one I definitely considered a win when it was 4-1. Memphis in the under. Jesus God, what a nightmare that was. And Memphis plus 4.5 and the under. The under was cleared by 15 points, and it goes to overtime, of course. Overtime is never your friend with the under. Memphis plus 4.5. When LeBron, as soon as LeBron went for 2, like the drove for to descend to overtime, like God, that's gonna be it. Just shoot the 3 like a man, LeBron. Win or lose, go home. Don't ruin it with overtime. Ruin everyone's bets. And then even in overtime, Memphis still could have covered. They were up 4, they were down 4, and they foul Reeves with 0.3 seconds to go. Good job. Good job with that 0.3 second foul. Make sure everyone gets home happy and goes to Jack in the Box and gets their free tacos. Whatever the fuck they get. Anyway. So that was Memphis was bad. Under was a bad. Tampa Bay, those were 3 bad beats. And then the other one was the Bucks. You can't really call that a bad beat, even though they were in control of the game. Jimmy Butler's just a savage. He went off. But I will say this, and this will be the last I'll talk about these games, and then we'll go into the draft. I will never, and I'm serious, I will never, ever bet on another basketball game that Reggie Miller is announcing. He's a fucking nightmare. Who is Reggie Miller for? I don't even understand who enjoys him. He just repeats everything that happens in the most antagonizing way. Like I feel like it's a personal attack. If you have bet on the other side of whatever, it's whatever side is going against. It's not like he's not even choosing sides. He just chooses the negative every time. Oh, and it's a foul, and it's a 1, and it's when he turned it over. Like he's laughing at all the failures. So no matter what side you're on, you're going to hate Reggie Miller. Oh my God. Oh my God. He's just very nice. So I can't do it. So that's my new handicap. I just will not be able, or just not watch it, which I'm fine with too. Not sweating a Reggie Miller game. And Jimmy Butler, he's the man, obviously. But I will say this: the refs were along for the ride in that game. I'm not saying they're biased because they wanted Miami to win or fix anything. I don't believe in that. Although I do with Tim Donahue, but I do believe they get motivated, riled up with the home crowd. They get swooped up in that, and that's exactly what happened in Miami. When Milwaukee just went to go call timeout, and Kyle Lowry fucking torpedo dives in there at the ankles. They don't call foul. He just slid tackle Drew Holiday. Ball dunk. Yeah, the refs are cheering. Maybe he put his arms up like it was a touchdown for a dunk. God. I was like, okay, this is gonna be tough for Milwaukee to pull out. The refs are definitely along for this Miami ride. They're like, whoa, Lowry, Jimmy Butler, we're going to South Beach Club tonight. That being said, I still like Milwaukee to win that series. They're plus 110. If you want to grab that, I'll bomb that while we're at it. Yeah. Well, hold on. Uh-oh. Let me try it again. That volume sounds low, doesn't it? Did I just hit a bad volume? Oh, here we go. I see what I did. So let me give out Milwaukee plus 110 series. Bomb it. Here we go. That sounds better. All right. Now we're talking. All right. With that being said, let's get to quick read, and we're going to do some NFL draft bombs. It's going to be a great show. Welcome to the NFL Draft Week SGPN. So make sure we're running a special Parlay of the Day contest. All kinds of fun things happening this week for Draft Week with Shady Rays. Remember, if you use promo code SGPN at shadyrays.com, buy a pair of sunglasses, send the receipt to them, you upload it, and each day of the NFL Draft, the Sports Gambling Podcast will release a Shady Rays Parlay of the Day. And if it hits the cash, we'll be awarded to an unlucky listener. If it hits. Of course it's going to hit. You got Sean Money Green and Ryan Kramer crunching the numbers. They're already breaking the bank on a USFL game. If you listen to their last show, they're hitting the kiosk till they run out of paper. So go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/shady to start getting shady. And if you know anything about the company, they are shady. I tell you what, I do like them. What I like about them is they're an independent sunglass company, but they're nice. They're premium. They're durable. And they give you protection. They replace any lost or broken pair of sunglasses, no questions asked. Just in case you have any shady business where sunglasses get broken. They won't ask you, hey, what happened to them? We know there's probably a story. No need to get into it. Here's another pair. We can tell you need it. So go to shadyrays.com, use SGPN code for 50% off 2 pairs of sunglasses, and then you enter in for a parlay. And that's it. And then you are up and you are cooking good this weekend. All right, let's get into it. Let's stop wasting time here. Okay. So this is another, like I said, there's another mock draft after today. We're going to give out a lot of prop bets, some basic lines. We're going to start off with the quarterbacks because that's going to be the story of the first round. A lot of them are going to go early. Some of them are slipping, they're saying, but over under 4.5 is a prop bet for how many quarterbacks will be taken in the first round. Basically, that's you're just asking if Hayden Hooker is going to get drafted in the first round. That's basically the bet because Bryce Young's going number 1, no doubt. Levis now, I guess, is who knows? Maybe he's the second quarterback taken, but it was Reddit odds flying. CJ Stroud, and then of course Anthony Richardson. They'll all be going. Who knows where they'll be going? But then there's Hooker. You know what's weird? You can do it over quarterback. I think it's like 175. But you could also do, if you look around, sometimes it would be two of the same bets basically, but better odds. Like I saw Hayden Hooker, whatever his name is, under 31.5, which is basically the first round, his draft position at 160. So you're better off playing that than you are playing quarterbacks, unless some random ass quarterback comes in there, which won't happen. So I want to make this Hooker under 31.5 because I think he will go in the first round. And this is why. And I don't think he should go in the first round, but I think he will go in the first round. And that's the thing with mock drafts. Mock drafts are never right because the NFL is always wrong, if that makes sense. The NFL, they just and a lot of them, they listen to ESPN and all these things. It's nonstop mock drafts now. It's just nonstop. They redo it every time. Here's a new one off the press. We got another Reddit thread. Here we go. Here's another new fucking mock draft. Like they just constantly change. It's this constant entertainment, and they feed. They do their shows, and this all started. Now the reason why I don't think he does is because I think he's risky. I mean, I'm sure he's a good quarterback. He's fine. He was great in Tennessee. That offense was very forgiving to quarterbacks for sure, but he's old. He's 26. He's older than Lamar Jackson, or 25, whatever he is. He tore his ACL, and not like in the beginning of the season. He tore his ACL recently. He tore his ACL like a month ago, almost like week 10, like right before the fucking end of the season. So he's not going to be ready to play next year, and then he'll be 26, 27. But that being said, here's what happened. He is a good quarterback, and those are hard to come by. This is what happens because quarterbacks are, obviously the star driven and what people want to hear, especially in mock drafts, because early mock drafts, people don't know, they're not taking deep dives yet in all these players. They're just taking people's words for it, So they had these mock drafts, and like ESPN had one, and you could tell they just give a script because they're doing a show. And who's their general manager? They have Tannenbaum, right? Yeah, Richie Tannenbaum or whatever. And he's like, okay, number 4, I'm going to take Hayden Hooker. That was his pick. And Kuiper just starts ripping on it. Like, whoa, that would be a surprise. I don't expect that to happen, but all right, blah, blah, blah. He starts going through all the bad things. And he's just berating Tannenbaum, who was a general manager for the NFL. But you can tell he's just like staring at Kuiper, and he's staring at the camera like, hey, come on, man. What are you doing to me? They told me to say this, right? Like, why are you insulting me? And Kuiper's like, oh, this idiot thinks Hooker's going 4. And from that, Tannenbaum has to fucking keep defending his argument that I'm sure he doesn't even believe in. I'm sure he was just given a script from Bristol. They say this because it's what people know. So now there's been so much talk about Hooker going in the first round. Now people got him going 15, and these NFL teams, that's all they have going on in the offices. You imagine going in the office, all you see is NFL Network and First Take and fucking cold pizza and all that shit. Get up, get down, have a take. This just in. Numbers never lie. Pardon the horns. Whatever the fucking shows are. I mean, it's just nonstop debate shows where they're given scripts and talking points. So it gets in their head so much that I think Hooker will be now taken in the first round. And I don't even think they want to. But the way these monsters go in together. So it's minus 160 under 31.5 for Hooker, which I think is a better way to play these than the over 4.5 quarterbacks. If you want to play over 4.5 quarterbacks, whatever. It's the same. It's the same exact bet. So we'll bomb that for our first NFL draft bomb. These are all the mock drafts. Like we said, and like I said, they don't have a clue, these mock drafts. And these GMs and these teams don't have a clue. That's the thing, too. First of all, this NFL draft, the NFL draft itself, and any of these team drafts are illegal, I'd say. It's a job emporium. No other job, at least in the baseball draft, at least they kind of negotiate the contract beforehand. Football, they have no rights. Like, we're taking you. This is where you're going to go. Even though you're the best at your field, you're going to the worst place. Like, the draft is an illegal process, basically, but it's the NFL. And they have these interviews, and they're so entitled. Why should the Texans draft you? Fuck you. Why should I play for the Texans? How about that? That's what they should be saying. Well, you can't. You'll be blackballed, obviously, because you don't understand the privilege of playing for the NFL. That's what I'd be like, because these guys like jump out and they've toned down the questions a bit, but before there was questions like, remember they were like, they asked Des Bryant if his mom was a fucking prostitute and shit. They're like, well, that's the kind of grilling you're going to get in the NFL. You got to get ready for the press. What? That's not going to happen. Well, if it is, that guy should be fucking fired. Just growing out. Why should we take you? Why should I play for you? You're terrible. And then, here's the thing. If these guys knew what they were doing, and they don't, that would be the trump card for all these fucking players and all these mock drafts. Last year, the most important pick, the best pick, was the last one. Brock Purdy was the last pick of the draft, and he almost took his team to the Super Bowl. So these people know nothing. The 49ers traded all their picks to get to the number 3 to get Trey Lance, who's a bust, who they want to trade now. And then with the very last pick, they get a quarterback. And they've stumbled into that and they act like, we saw something. You didn't see shit. Nobody did, obviously. Or he wouldn't have went last. How about when players don't get drafted? I like when they don't. When they don't get drafted and they become undrafted free agents. I like when they tell them that. Well, that's the best thing that could have happened to you, actually. That way, you get to choose from a bunch of teams that didn't want you to begin with. So you get to choose who do you want to play for, or who don't want you to play for them. I really understood that. Oh man. Yep, they did. They asked Insano. So they asked if they let me hide that. I'll put your comment up there, Insano, welcome to the YouTube chat. Make sure to like that YouTube. Yeah, if his mom does drugs, like what, or sells drugs. I mean, Jesus Christ. First of all, why do you want some? Jerry Jones? It's funny. So with these quarterbacks, that's what you hear with things. CJ Stroud, I like they're grilling him. The rumors come up about him not being smart now, which is kind of funny. Every year they do that with one of quarterbacks. The NFL, they're only concerned if you're smart, if you're a quarterback. If you're not a quarterback, they want you dumb. This wouldn't be a problem if Stroud was a quarterback. And first of all, Stroud came out to say, I'm not a test taker. Right. He's a fucking football player. I don't want to see his paper on the Revolutionary War. You want to see him fucking break down a goddamn zone defense. But like, the NFL doesn't want you to be smart if you're a lineman, or a linebacker. If you're questioning, what the draft process is and what NFL is and what you do to your bodies and your brains. They hate that. They hate all these people getting information and retiring early. Remember, was it Samari Roll or the guy who went to Oxford? They wouldn't draft him. I don't like. He's got questions that we don't have answers to. But all of a sudden, CJ Stroud's dumb because he failed some ridiculous. When people fail tests that bad too, they're just fucking around. Obviously. I mean, how could he possibly go to Ohio State if he had an education? That's a joke. Ohio State famously Robert Smith, the running back who went and played for the Vikings with the Randy Moss era, Randall Cunningham Vikings. He sued Ohio State for not letting him go to practice. He wanted to he was like a double major. Too smart. He wouldn't like that either. Too smart, Robert Smith. Yeah, so where CJ Stroud's slipping to, which I think is ridiculous. Now, if you want to say he's got incredible all-pro receivers at college, sure, that'd be something. But then he fails this IQ. It's no longer the Wonderlick anymore. My day it was the Wonderlick. Now it's the IQ3. We do agility and first of all, these tests who are these tests coming from? These idiots, these NFL GMs? I mean, they're not. They hire some, but like they're dumb enough to hire these things. It seems racist too, to be honest with you. To say CJ Stroud's dumb as a quarterback, but Will Levis, who's eating a banana with a peel on it, he's smart. Okay. The hillbilly from Kentucky who's eating a banana raw with skin, he passed the test. Okay, well then I question this test. Oh man. Anyway, so that was a bomb we're carrying out there. Quarterbacks over 4.5. That's we broke down those quarterbacks that we're going to get there, and then all right. What else happens in the draft? There's the next one. Jalen Carter. Speaking of made up rumors, his over under is 6.5. There's a lot of steam of him going 5 recently, and a lot of steam. I think he's going to slip. I'm not going to go over. I want to give out Jalen Carter over 6.5. Bomb that. Because this is what happens. He's another one where they have rumors. This is like Warren Sapp. They said he did cocaine and he slipped. And next thing you know, you got the Eagles drafting like Mike Mamula ahead of him because he was a combine wizard. Yeah, drugs are always a big one. As Insano says, Dan Marino was a famous one. He dropped in that because of the rumors that he did cocaine abuse. Well, I'll say one thing, Insano. Those weren't rumors. Marino did a lot of coke at Pitt with Freilich, but who cares? He's in college. He's Dan fucking Marino. You still draft him over Todd Blackledge, for God's sakes. Okay, how much blow he did in Pittsburgh. So anyway, they like spreading drug rumors. You're right. Just so their stock will drop, and then they can scoop them up. If you look at the thumbnail, there's old Larry Tunsil there coming in sideways to the Brett Favre party with the gas mask bong. If anything, he would have shot up my board after that. This poor guy. I mean, who leaks this thing like the day of the draft or day before the draft? And then these idiot GMs, oh, you can't trust him. You certainly can't trust him. He's worried about secondhand smoke. And he's making sure he's not wasteful. So anyway, Jalen Carter. What's funny about Jalen Carter, he's the D lineman from Georgia. But was the number one assumed number 1 pick, in the offseason, and now he's slipped, and now he might even go down to top 10. I'm hoping he drops to the Eagles at 10 as an Eagle fan. There's talks about that. That'd be great, but I don't know if he'll slip that far. He had the car. He had the car accident where the coaches and the people died celebrating after the national championship game, and he turns out he was drag racing with them. He lied to the cops about it, said he was miles away. Then he was kind of close. Then they might have been racing. Then he fled the scene. Whatever. It's Georgia. Not a big deal, according to the NFL. He did a couple other things. But now that he gained 15 pounds during the banquet season or the buffet season, now all of a sudden that's a problem. They might be out of shape. These fucking kids are 22. Their metabolism is 30 gerbils on a wheel spinning around. Like James Harden. They can lose 15 pounds just getting out of bed, these kids. And he's a 350-pound, whatever it is. He's a 300-pound defensive lineman for Georgia. I'm sure they gain 15 pounds and lose 15 pounds just upon, what the grits and biscuits are over in the morning. I'm sure it's always fluctuating. So I don't understand all these. I don't understand the rumors about Jalen Carter and him slipping. I mean, I do. People are trying to drag him down. But that's so much like the NFL where they don't not care that he's lying to the cops about a drag race where someone died, but they care that he gained 15 pounds. So he's my new step. We'll take him over 6.5, and we'll get to that. All right. I don't know what I'm doing with the soundboard, but I do like hitting that. So that's 2 bombs we've given out so far. Let's lock it up. Like I said, this is me playing with the parents' soundboard here. Colby and Sean's do it. I do like the. Oh, this is great.
Woo! It's smoking my weed.
That's what I should have done for the Larry Tunsil, or this. Nice. And we will come back after these quick ad reads, and then I'll have more on the clock. And I got a lot more. These are just 2 NFL draft bombs we've given so far. Quarterbacks over 4.5, or Hooker under 31.5, and Carter over 6.5. But we have like 8 more bombs to go. So I gotta get moving. Especially after I tell you about Underdog Fantasy. Now that the playoffs are here, we better way to get down some player prop parlays and over to Underdog Fantasy. Besides the daily NHL, NBA, and MLB games, they got NFL best ball drafts with $500,000 guaranteed in prizes. You head over to UnderdogFantasy.com, use promo code SGPN for 100% deposit up to $100. It's Underdog Fantasy, promo code SGPN. And part of SGPN's draft week, SGPN is holding a free NFL draft prop contest exclusively for members of our Discord. It's completely free to join. A winner gets $250 cash and a $50 SGPN gift card where you can get a Man in a Box t-shirt. Just go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com Discord and go to the NFL channel for the sign up link. All right. And don't forget that you are people who are watching on YouTube. I see some viewers on there, including Insano, I'm sorry, who's doing great on the comments. Thank you for watching. And make sure to smoosh that subscribe button and like it. Don't just sit there with it. All right, now let's break into some of the fun stuff that I like to talk about here. And if you have any fun, whatever your fun draft moments in there, like I like the watch parties I got into. Like that's the thing with when they spread rumors about Carter, and players like that. Then the watching comes on, and that provides entertainment. So I wouldn't be surprised if ESPN does this shit to make people draft, because when people slip, that makes for good TV. They love watching people be nervous, waiting around cell phones, sweating in suits. If not at home, especially in the green room when they're there. The players that are there in the green room, of course, everyone was famous, Aaron Rodgers and all these guys just slip and just getting mad and pacing. And then they finally break down, and the agents and the phone calls. I do love the house parties, but we'll get into that in a little bit. All right, next one. Wide receivers props. This one I like a lot. 3.5 over under 3.5 receivers taken in the first round is -120. So it's a pretty even bet. We're going to go over 3.5. Let me just get to that real quick. And there it is. Over 3.5 wide receivers. You have Zay Flowers, who went to Boston College, who's shooting up boards. And the first question, if I was doing GM interviews, which I would barely do, I don't even know what they ask him. Like, hey, do you like football? Yeah, good. All right. So that's what we're hoping to draft a football player. I would ask Zay Flowers, why did you go to Boston College? What are you? What's happening there? Are you a sociopath? What kind of crazy are you? Maybe he's got a good answer. He's like a Red Sox fan. But he went to Boston College and he was awesome. Then you have Addison from USC and Quentin from TCU. So that's 3 right there. And I'm not even talking about the first one. Quentin, he's going to go because some general managers just watch like the championship games and the playoff games. And he was the star in that TCU Michigan game. He fucking blew up. Like, oh, he's the best player I've ever seen. So someone like to call any idiot owners will be like, well, take him. I like him. Addison slipping up. I see the Chargers or the Giants actually grabbing him. My uncle, speaking of breaking news, Let me see if I can get the my uncle from Hartford, the Hartford bookie himself. Where is it? He called me to tell me that they like that kid by me, which I guess is the USC receiver. Hartford bookie reports the Giants like the kid by me. The receiver out of USC. And he also says he'll come visit me as soon as we get rid of that Nazi governor libtard. 2 breaking newses for you. So that's 3 receivers. And then, of course, the number 1 receiver probably going to be taken from Ohio State, Jackson Smith Ninja. How much rehearsal time do you think Field Yates and Todd McShay are them just saying in the mirror, and Adam Schefter just talking in the mirror, trying to pronounce ninja and making sure they don't get that wrong? Because it reads, it can get away from you in a hurry, and that can ruin a career if you mispronounce that one, if you know what I mean. So I just think there's just 4 good receivers that are all coming up in the air, and there's a lot of receivers, and it's going to get dicey, obviously. But I've seen props where it's 4.5 too. They actually in a prop contest, which you guys should get involved in. It's a fun prop contest for free, and you can win cash. It's 4.5. So to get 3.5 at even money, I think that's a great play. So we'll do that. We'll bomb that receiver 3.5, and we're gonna go with the other special. I mean, I don't like to do overs for all the special plays, but sometimes you got to follow the steam when it comes to these drafts. Another one is running backs. Running backs is 1.5. This used to be plus huge money. Now it's minus 180 over 1.5. So Bijan Robinson is going to get drafted in the first round. That's going to happen. He's great in Texas. So this is basically, will Johnny Gibbs from Alabama get drafted? And I think he will. People are really discrediting running backs. People love to discredit running backs now. Like, oh, you don't waste a top 10 pick. You can get them off the street. I heard a guy today saying, you can just pick them off the street. They're sleeping in tents, these running backs. Just throw them out there and give them a loaf of bread. Also very racist. But yeah, running backs do come and go. And like, you won't even get a second contract because they just throw them away. But if you get a really great running back, it's not worthless. You just don't give them that second contract. Like, people make fun of. I can see Dallas doing this and get it, because Dallas famously got Ezekiel Elliott, number 4 overall, and he was great for them for a couple years. I don't think it was that bad of a pick. Yeah, he wore it down, but the thing is, you just don't pay him. They did plan to pay him because they're Dallas, and they're morons. Zeke was also a little bit of a problem. Yeah, but if you want to have problems, you go to be a Dallas Cowboy. They'll sweep it under the rug. He got railroaded in that section. Like when he grabbed the girls' hoo-ha's on a floater parade. He got like 6 games for that because he just wouldn't cooperate with NFL investigators, which was hilarious. If he did a real crime and just told them about it, they're fine. But if you don't cooperate with their private fucking eyes that used to work for the FBI. The NFL is so ridiculous. They have ex-FBI agents working their security, and they hate when you don't cooperate with them. They're such a fucking mafia. One time I was in Vegas. Actually, it was during the Eagles-Patriots Super Bowl. I was in Vegas at the Wynn playing poker that weekend. And as I was leaving, like 3 a.m, 4 a.m, something like that, I wanted to go back to the hotel. Ezekiel Elliott was playing blackjack by himself, like a high end. It was like a roped off for him. And I yelled out, Zeke, even I'm an Eagles fan, I think you got really screwed with that rape thing, that whole rape thing. I was drunk. And Zeke was like, yeah, thanks, man. You might not yell the word rape out loud in a casino about me, please. I just want to say I'm for you, buddy. And I'm an Eagles fan. And I think you got screwed with the rape charges. Yeah, again, I'm going to have to ask you to stop saying rape when it comes to me. But anyway, so we're going to go over 1.5 running backs. Johnny gives Bijan Robinson just because I just see cocky teams like to take running backs. There's a lot of cocky teams in the NFL. The Eagles being one of them. Cowboys being one of them. And these are teams that you can see getting running backs that just shore that up. Wouldn't be the worst pick. I'm not a believer that running backs are wasted picks for sure. Quarterbacks, I think, are more of a waste pick than fucking running back sometimes in the first round because that's a whole project, and by the time they're useful for you. Anyways, let's get into. So those are your basic bombs. Receivers over 3.5, running backs over 1.5, quarterbacks over 4.5, or Hooker under 4.5. Jalen Carter over 6.5. So that is 4 or 5 bombs, basically. Now we're going to get into some fun ones, some specials, which you can get a bet online is where I got these. And these are fun. First one is how many trades will happen during day one? Over under 5.5 on that. Little juice towards the over. This one I love. I love the over 5.5 here. We're going to give that a bomb. 5.5 over trades. And that is basically because we were saying before, these general managers, this thing has become so important, the NFL draft day, and such where there's a movie about it, and they all want to be Kevin Costner, that ridiculous fucking movie Draft Day, where Costner's pulling all these shenanigans and the fucking quarterback, and no one went to his birthday party, and they all think they're doing this. They're getting it's inside information. And they're all duping each other, and they all know nobody knows anything. And Brock Purdy goes last. I'll never get over that. Brock Purdy being Mr. Irrelevant and being easily the fucking most valuable draft rookie last year. So over 5.5. So they want to move. First of all, it's 1.5 for top 10 trades, but people like this trade just to trade. And I get it. 15 minutes, the phones are ringing. Why not? Get a trade. Move it down. Move it back up. Move it around. They love announcing the trades in Kansas City. So we're going to go over 5.5 there. Easy. No problem. Then they give each other grades. It's all about grade. They're afraid of the grades. That's why I love letter grades are so stupid. Instant grades, B-, C+, incomplete. That's a good one too. The incomplete one. All right, so here we go. First round, there's 31 first round picks. 31 first round players. How many of them will be wearing glasses? Over under 8.5. The under is juiced to minus 160 for good reason. It takes a lot of confidence. It takes a certain someone to pull off the glasses look. And college kids, they're cocky, they're confident, but they don't have that. They know they're being looked at. They know they're going to be mocked, and they know. First of all, they know the team's going to harass them. They'll pull off the suits. They'll do all the fancy suits, but glasses to pull the Von Miller off. You got to have a real sense of veteranship of being smart. And being smart's just not cool in football. It's not like basketball or soccer. Even if the glasses aren't real, just for fashion statement. Football players don't even like doing that. Football players like breaking glasses. Like Shady Rays. But that's why Shady Rays would be a great sponsor, because even if you break your sunglasses, no questions asked. Jalen Carter snaps your glasses like a like I said. In the 80s, it seemed like people that's how you would bully a nerd. You would take the glasses off their face, you'd break it right in front of them. And then you'd put it in their chest pocket. And that's why they'd have to tape it. That's why you see all the nerds have their glasses taped in the middle. Now, if a football player taped their glasses already with that kind of a nerd chic look, that'd be impressive. I just don't think the NFL can do it. So I think this number is enormous. And first of all, if they have actual functional glasses, their agents are telling them to hide that. Put some contacts in, for God's sakes. We can't have you showing weakness. And that's how dumb NFL GMs are and owners, where they would think altered vision is a weakness. You need glasses? Or Tom Coughlin, when he coached Jacksonville, the ex-Giants coach who won 2 Super Bowls. He coached Jacksonville. Ex-Marine Tom Coughlin. Tough cookie, Tom Coughlin. No one's denying that. He wouldn't allow any of his coaching staff to wear sunglasses because it showed weakness. What? Squinting in the Duval County sun down there? That's abusing your eyeballs. That's the sun. Yeah, yes, Coach Coughlin, I'm weaker than the sun. We all are. It's a burning star up there that gives us life and warmth. Yeah, I can't stare at it. Anyway, so they think glasses are a sign of weakness. So under 8.5 is a nice, easy bomb. Here's another fun bomb I like. Over under, how many dogs will be shown in the first round? 2 is the total. No hook there, and the over is even money. So the under is juiced to 2. This is an interesting one. I like this one. It's key because it's the first day only. So a lot of the draft picks are there in Kansas City at the draft, so they can get announced, go up, do a bro hug to Goodell. Fucking Goodell is so hateable. Making $65 million and he bro hugs. He's good. Bro hug. Yeah, welcome. We're gonna make sure you get CTE and not take care of you and throw you on the street. Anyway, welcome to the league, bro. So total dogs, but so this goes to the house parties, the house viewing parties. You know, we had the family and friends. If you look around the photo, you had the Brett Favre here, the CD Lamb, where the girlfriend tried to look at his phone and Lamb snagged it from him. Snagged it from her. Whoa, don't look at my phone, girl. So then you have the house party, which I always love. I love it. There's a lot of anxiety there. They show them. There's agents. I love when there's an agent, especially a white agent in a black family. They always stand right out. Pretty funny. Jerry Maguire style. Like CD Lamb. It's like a very black family, and then like a white, like Drew Rosenhaus in there or something. It's just, all right, guy, here it is. Miami Dolphins. I think they're on the horn. Here it is. No, just your aunt. Your aunt wants to know if she needs anything. So a dog just has to pop up. So now we're talking dogs. We're talking family dogs. If you're talking about your like country, like your Joe Thomases who would stay home at a bar, your fishing dogs, they usually keep them out of the shot. But then you get the player girlfriends and stuff that help the little dogs. But sometimes the moms will take care of it. Moms don't. When you have moms getting shown their living rooms, they don't want anything to go wrong. So they keep it tight wrapped. So they'll lock the dogs up. That's why two's a tough number to get to. But I think we can get to, because what I'm hoping for is just one breaking loose in the kitchen. You know, that's all it takes. It's one. There's one house that's got like 3 or 4 that they can't send. You see them scratching, they all barrel out of there, and they get 2 up. They play. Right. They know where the mom is. We're going to get to the mom on our next bomb, but the dog bomb, the dog props. And dogs are now accessories too. And I'm telling you, and ESPN knows what plays. Dogs play. Dog videos play. So this is basically a dog versus the mom bet. Can the dogs outsmart the moms to keep yourself a clean family room? I'm going to go ahead and say that. Now, if this was a second, third, fourth day bet, this would be an easy smash overplay. Because one of my favorite parts is the draft party at the players at home. And then when they don't get drafted and they just show the hours and hours and the party starts getting, less and less and people start leaving. And then when they come back, like on Saturday and Sunday, the Sunday, like day 3 is a sad viewing party. That's when they're like, it's just them and the dog, your only friend. Checking the phone. Now he's just checking Instagram. He's not even checking to see if coaches are calling. It gets worse and worse and depressing. And that's when you get, even dogs are looking at you like, come on, how long are we going to do this? Can we go out? Can we go outside? I mean, who cares? Is it really going to change anything? But it's a day one only. And I'm taking a risk on this. I'm thinking dogs break loose from the kitchen. It only takes one house for 2 to spill out. And when they spill out, they spill out together. So we're going to go dogs over 2, even money, bomb it. Dogs shown. Sano talks about, they all know where the mom pulled the girlfriend of the players in the lap on Draft TV. Speaking of mom, though, Insano, this is a heavily juiced one, but this is a good one. Who will the number one pick, Bryce Young, hug first? Mother, father, agent, friend. Agents 10-1, friends 10-1. Father is like 3-1. With a mom is minus 250. Heavy favorite for good reason. Because that's what you do. You hug the mom. Dads get the they hold up the tears and then they give you the man hug afterwards. You do the emotions, you let mom get the first one. Bryce Young has great parents. They've been together 30 years. You don't be together 30 years without knowing, hey, hug your mother. That's what dads say. Hey, don't say that to your mother. Hug your mother. Your mother worked very hard on this. Dads love yelling about their kids about their mother, about how things they fucked up. The harder they yell at you to treat their mother right is more they fucked up with them. Hey, your mother spent a long time cooking. She hasn't heard anyone she hasn't heard me thank her for it. So you be thankful. Anyway, I did some research on this. I looked at by research, I mean I watched the Heisman presentation again, and after hugging the players next to him because of the Heisman, they keep the 4 players separated. But after he won, Bryce Young, he went over and went right to Julie. Right to Julie Young, the mom, beautiful mom, gave her a hug. Great moment. And then the dad, patiently waited on the side. He knows. The one monkey in this wrench could be the agent. That could fall things up. Only because, and I doubt it will. I love the mom at minus 250. But the agent, he's a newer agent. He's a younger kid from Kentucky, which is good for him. But the hell's his name too? I forget it. Grant or some shit. I looked it up. But those new agents, they don't know sometimes. If this was like a Lee Steinberg or Rosenhaus, they even know, hey, mom, you want to get in here? Mom, you want to hug your boy? They know how to fucking sweet talk and recruit on couches. But these new ones are eager to get their face out there. So I can see him making a huge mistake and just jumping up for joy when he hears it because this is the first time he's going to get a massive paycheck like this. But I don't think anyone's getting Julie Young's way. So let's do that. 30 years of marriage. That's how you make that work. Number 1 overall pick. Hugs the mom. Vomit. All right. Let me get some more noises. I can't believe I didn't. I'm so bad with the sound, but I did a dog prop bet and I don't hit the fucking DMX dog barking soundbite. There's the accessory one as well. The CeeDee Lamb girlfriend dog, as I'm saying. See, that's the thing too with the dog prop bet. We have so many opportunities. Let me run down what we got here first too. A little recap before I get into some team prop bets. We got quarterbacks over 4.5 or Hayden Hooker under 31.5. Either way, whatever you want to play, whatever you find a better odds at. We'll get that up. Wide receivers over 3.5 minus 120 because everyone's trying to practice saying ninja without reading that wrong. Running backs over 1.5 because there's some value with the rest of the teams calling them street trash. Jalen Carter waiting with free drug rumors in the green room, 6.5. Over that. And then we got the special ones. Trades, total trades over 5.5. Eyeglasses by first round picks under 8.5. Total dogs over 2. Number 1 pick hugs the mom. That's 4 bombs. God, there's more dog noises I could have got as well. Amazing. Anyway, all All right, let's get into some team bombs. Then we'll do some man in the box. And then we're going to get out of here for our NFL draft special here. Welcome. Thank you for joining me, by the way, on the Bottom Line Bombs. Make sure you subscribe to the Bottom Line Bombs. I'm here live every Monday and Wednesday at noon Pacific. Do general, give out a bunch of bombs from whatever the day's events, and to go through the narratives, picks with bits as far as how the storylines has a gambling aspect to it, or whatever, or just me going crazy, like I said. And then I do a man in the box, which I'm rocking the shirt here, man in the box. You get the SGPN gift card if you hit that parlay of the day. So yeah, you can pick what position the teams will draft. These are fun bets. These are good bets to hit. There's a lot of value on these, I think. I'll go through a bunch real quick. Tampa Bay O lineman 155. I think that hits pretty easy. Not pretty easy, obviously. But it's 155. We're gonna hit Tampa Bay 155. They're a mess now that Tom Brady left them, and their O line was definitely a mess. But they have Tristan Wirtz, who I love. He's one of my favorite viewing parties too. But he's from Mount Vernon, Iowa. Black man, a huge black man from Mount Vernon, Iowa. And I always love that when like an athlete comes in and just settles down. Yeah, I kind of like it here. I like this I like this Iowa town, I'm like, why wouldn't you? They treat you like a god. Anyway, he's an amazing lineman. He went to Iowa State, I think. Anyway. So they're going to draft. They need another tackle. There's rumors of them getting, obviously there's Paris Johnson is a tackle. Pete Skorinsky is another tackle from Northwest. I see the Bears drafting Pete Skorinsky. I can totally see that with their fucking number 9 pick. They would love to. That's such a Bears pick. Northwestern, Skorinsky up in Evanston. They love, because Bears fans love local heroes. They love the Midwest. They love the whole thing. Oh God, he's from Notre Dame. He's from Northwestern. They would. The only reason why they wouldn't pass on Paris Johnson is because he's one, he won't be there, but because he went to Ohio State. So I see the Tampa Bay also getting an offensive lineman. I'll give that out plus 150. Saints to get a defensive lineman, it's minus 105. Usually want plus money, but it's pretty much a lock that they're going to get a defensive lineman. So put that in there. Dallas. This is a good one. Now, Dallas, you never know what they're going to do. Jerry Jones is a wild card when it comes with the drafting. They love to make big splashes. Once he gets those scotches in him, who knows where he's going to go. He was like my dad. My dad would come home, and he had an Irish diet one time where he would cook chicken wings, but he would peel the skin off it and he'd grill them every day. We'd have our own dinner, family dinner, and he would make his own chicken because that's what an Irishman does for a diet. When something that works, they stick to that for the rest of their lives. So he would cook chicken and peel the skin off, and that's all he would eat. Chicken wings. But he'd grill them. He'd marinate them overnight in our kitchen sink. Absolutely disgusting. My sister is still traumatized. Will not touch chicken because the fucking skin would float to the top of our sink. It was pretty gross. I'll give her credit for that. I still eat it because the chicken was amazing. But the point is, he'd come home from work and he'd go outside, he'd barbecue his marinated chicken, and he'd have some Manhattans and scotch. And when he's got his face over the grill, the fat-free Caesar Italian marination and the whiskey, and it comes with this witch's concoction, and it would get into him, and then he'd come out of that, and he was likely to do anything. Who knows? He might be talking about putting a putting green in the backyard, even though we live down the street from a golf course. Who knows? He's talking about all kinds of ideas that would be just dumb. He would claim he could beat Michael Jordan in golf. He would tell a story how he boxed Joe Lewis's cousin in the Army. What? Yeah, he was pretty fast, but I caught him once in the defense. He was good, though. He was good. He would lie, but it'd be fun lies. That's what Jerry Jones does. He gets those whiskeys together. He's bound to do anything. He tried to draft Johnny Manziel. They literally had to rip the paper from him. Get it out of his hand. I would just tell Jerry Jones, sure, we got it. Give me your paper. We'll hand it to him, and just hand a different piece of paper. So I can see him going for Bijan Robinson because Texas running back. He loves anyone from Texas. He sees down there. He talks to his Texas boys who tell him how great he is. but they need a tight end. Dalton Schultz is gone. They have Jack Ferguson maybe still there, but they need a tight end, obviously. And Michael Meyer from Notre Dame, Duncan Cade, Utah. I like Meyer. They're the perfect Cowboys. So I'm saying someone in charge there will either convince Jerry Jones to get to the Notre Dame tight end, or they will lie to him and say, yeah, no, we'll take Robinson, and then just hand in the slip for hand in the slip for Myers anyway, take the tight end. So at plus 200, Dallas Cowboys to draft a tight end first is my team bomb of the week. The Jerry Jones Scotch Charlie Sullivan chicken marination. Another wild card one. We got Cincinnati also might take a tight end at plus 110. Burrow says he likes, but the only thing with that is they also need O-line too help. So maybe you play both. I wouldn't even touch it. We're not going to give that out. But if you do want a 3-1 underdog, plus 325 Buffalo to take a wide receiver. I like that one. Give that up. Buffalo wide receiver. I think they realize the Stephon Diggs situation is going to get worse. They had to bring they tried to bring Cole Beasley back during the season. That was now that he thinks he was proven right with vaccines. You don't want a white rapper coming in, an anti-vax white rapper in Buffalo. They need some help there. And they have a lot of injuries in the receivers. They have McKenzie and all those guys. They're good, but I think the writing's on the wall with that window shutting too, with Diggs and those guys. And he was a problem. Whatever. Point is, that's good value at plus 325. So that's Dallas, 200 tight end, my favorite one. Tampa Bay O-line, 155. Buffalo receiver, plus 325. New Orleans, minus 105. Those are 4 great positional bombs. That's a lot. Oh, and Skorowski. Bear Skorowski is just my favorite. My favorite moron Big Ten play. There's other bets you could do too. Ties. Kramer fucking tried to hammer the under in ties. How many ties are going to be worn? 18.5. That's tough. I don't know. It's tough because I just don't know the fashion. They don't want to wear ties, but I still don't know the fashion of what they want to do. Anyway, so it's that's going to break down all the draft bombs. Let's get into I don't want to do that. Yes, I am the man in the box. I don't want to rant too much, but I talk about the mock. I mean, there's just so many fucking mock drafts. I feel like I've already done enough ranting. Right on. I can't do him man in the box. The grading system is something else. I just hate it's this. Here's the thing with the draft. They do the instant grades, and the way they talk about it, and like we said before, no one really knows what they're talking about. But the way they talk about it, they act like they're all starting immediately. Well, we'll start him right there. This 6th-round D tackle, we'll plug him right in for Aaron Darnold. Once Aaron Darnold, he's like, what? What are you talking about? Rarely do these rookies do anything. I mean, they do something. You're doing it for the future. Jimmy Johnson once said you draft speed on defense every year and you just replace them. They're all replaceable. You lock in your first 3, your big 3 on offense, like Aikman, Emmett, Irvin, and there's draft defense and speed every year. Just guys that can run. So we got dogs, we got things. All right, I'll talk about this weekend that I spent last weekend at the Shining Hotel in Estes Park, Colorado. It wasn't technically the Shining Hotel, but it was this hotel. It's an hour outside of Denver where Stephen King was inspired to write The Shining. They might have shot some exteriors. I don't know if they did. I think they might have shot exteriors in Oregon and interiors in London. But this hotel leans into it because Stephen King got scared there and wrote The Shining. The hallways are creepy. I didn't ride a big wheel through it, but they do ghost tours and whatnot, and a lot of dead kids ghosting too. But I feel like there's a lot of dead kids because once a kid dies, the parents who might be dead are like, yeah, I don't really want to look after them in heaven either. Why don't you let them haunt this hotel for a bit? But a lot of times people just drug, especially in Colorado, they're just high. Everything's creepy. Yeah, you're just high, you know? But it did get me into horror movies. Shining, of course, one of the best horror movies ever. Although we watched it and did some Mystery Science Theater version of it. It is pretty long. Speaking of my mom, as my dad would do the chicken, I told my dad chicken whiskey story. My mom loved horror movies. She loved Alfred Hitchcock and she loved Shining, Stephen King. She loved Stephen King and Alfred Hitchcock. And every time The Shining was on, she would force me and my sister to watch it. And it was horrifying. We were children watching The Shining and The Birds and fucking Hitchcock movies. She would make us watch Hitchcock movies too. My sister is still terrified of birds these days, to this day. And I can only get aroused if I'm wearing a bear suit, blowing a guy in a tuxedo at a New Year's Eve party. That's just a Shining bit. That's a weird moment when a guy's when he looks up and a guy's like blowing him in the hallway. He gives you that look like, you caught me giving a 1912 blowjob. Anyway, I watched the documentary Room 237 to try to get ready for it, which is it's you got to watch it. It's not good. It's all conspiracy theories about The Shining and Kubrick and the fucking genius of Kubrick. One thing is in the freezer room, you know, he plants this baking soda by this Native American company, and and he puts it right in front of the camera so you can see, and it's because it's an Indian burial ground, and all these, and there's going to deep. I'm like, yeah, okay, I can see that, but also there's Kool-Aid right next to it. What's the conspiracy theory with Kool-Aid? Anything? Maybe it's just a fucking pantry. I don't know. Kubrick does a movie every 12 years. That's why I think it's more important than it is. He's a genius. Like Albert Brooks. I think I already talked about this. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. The NFL Gambling 5. I don't want to talk about them. Eyes Wide Shut. How genius was that? I don't know. I think he just died in the editing room, fucking jerking off to Nicole Kidman and whatever else was going on in them. Whatever else he was shooting. That was a good scene in Room 237 when Harvey Keitel talks about the walking off the set of Eyes Wide Shut the first day because they made him go through a doorway like 15 times, 15 different takes, just walking through a doorway, no acting or anything. He's like, what's going on? And the other actor's like, yeah, that's what he does. It's what we've been doing here at Stanley. So he's like, fuck this. And he left and he looked at all the other actors and he's like, none of you have any respect for yourself. Which is amazing. All right. I'm kind of dragging here with the man in the box. I didn't come prepared because I had to do my draft coverage. Got to do the draft coverage. I'll be honest with you. I didn't dive into it too early. People dive in so early now with the draft talk. And as you get older, it's a young man's game. I used to care what the Eagles would take. Yeah, I take this guy. Just take whoever you take, whatever. I'll read about it afterwards. Then you read the strengths and weaknesses. Strengths. He's got, upper body. He did have sex. Weaknesses, bad hips. His hips are tight. He doesn't like football. He's uninterested in social cues or whatever. It's just insane strengths and weaknesses, pluses and minuses. And they just write shit to write shit. It's so funny when you look at these draft grades of like players that turned out to be amazing. And he didn't help an old lady cross the street. Kept a bottle of hooch in the laundry room. That's Brett Favre. That's all Brett Favre's. So now I kind of just do it afterwards. But there's so many good values to bet on, and you got to keep up on the Reddit thread. Thank God this will be over with in the weekend, to be honest with you, so we can get back to playoff bombs. All right, but anyway, stay tuned for the XFL gambling show. with the XFL playoffs coming up next week that I'm a part of with Picks Dundee and J Mark. That's after this right here live. Oh God, it's getting late. And the mock draft tonight on the SGPN and tomorrow, Thursday, when you guys are probably listening to us now on a Thursday, live stream and watch the draft party. We can be the people. We can make fun of the people not getting drafted with the phones ringing. Is that you? No. It's Aunt Judy. That was my promo video. Aunt Judy calls. She wants to know if you need ice. Yes, just bring ice. Who calls and asks if you need ice? You can always use ice. It's not going to go to waste. It'll melt, okay? It'll turn into water, which is fine too. She's not throwing food away. Ice is fine. Bring ice. We always need ice. You don't got to call ahead. If you're calling ahead, you're hoping to get no. So I'm going to say yes no matter what. Yes. Bring ice. Make a stop, Aunt Judy. Anyway, like and subscribe to the Bottom Line Bombs. Give a 5-star review, please, if you can. Like the YouTube. Smash all that shit. Like it. Whatever. Who cares? Follow me on Instagram. CJ Sullivan was taken. With a bunch of underscores in there, not like Liam Neeson, but like the name was taken. At Twitter, CJ Sullivan _ Yeah, you can follow my dates and shows. Anyway, that's going to do it for all the bombs, NFL draft bombs. Have fun watching an illegal slave trade.